Arc Raiders is coming out at the end of this month, and I am super excited to play this. I've been hyped ever since I played this back in the summer on the tech test, and I synced in over 30 to 40 hours into this game, and I was completely blown away with some of the kind of gameplay features this includes. I wanted to go over some of the things I noticed when I was playing, but also some of these new features I think was just going to really excite people who may not even have played an extraction shooter, but will maybe get involved once this game comes out. Let's get into it. So firstly, this is an extraction shooter and it is available to everyone, all platforms. Doesn't matter what console you're on, you're going to be able to play Arc Raiders. And the awesome thing is, coming the 17th to the 19th, if you're still not convinced about playing Arc Raiders or, getting it, there is going to be a free server slam participation for everyone. Everyone can join in on this. You don't have to bought the game. You can just kind of get it up on your platform of choice, download it, and start playing when the 17th comes out. This is a great way of, one, just kind of like getting to know what Arc Raiders is about, get to know the gameplay, see if you like it, and also kind of give you a bit of a head start when it does come out on the 30th. You can kind of start to play the game, learn the maps, learn the kind of loot locations for specific things, and really kind of get a hold of what Arc Raiders is about to kind of give you a head start when actually it releases on the 30th. And it's all free to play from the 17th to the 19th. So great way of kind of just getting in and trying it. This extraction shooter is also not as hardcore. The game has a lot of things to help you understand what's going on in this game. Unlike other games like Escape from Tarkov, where you have to open up a Wikipedia or the internet and have it on a second window to just try and figure out how to even get out of the game, because it just doesn't let you know what you need to do once you spawn in. It won't give you any information whatsoever. And I think sometimes that type of hardcoreness where it really doesn't help you at all or aid you at all, and if you die you lose everything straight away, it can be very punishing, and it does put a lot of people off. With Arc Raiders, they've done it a little bit different, and I think this is great for people who are coming into the extraction shooter genre. It will give you a lot of information as soon as you spawn in. If you open up your map, it'll show you all the POIs on the map. It will show you where your current extractions are, the time you can use that extraction, and work out where you need to be to get out, depending on how long you want to spend inside the map. Every POI will have like information on what it contains, like what kind of things you can loot there. There's going to be specific missions and things you want to do to your upgrades, to your guns and the armor and things like that, which will require certain materials and things to loot. When you open up your map, it will let you know exactly where those kind of things are. It'll also let you know what type of POI. Is it a low risk POI? Is it a high risk POI? It gives you so much information compared to other games like Escape from Tarkov. On top of that, the gear fear. The gear fear is one thing which used to really get me in Escape from Tarkov. When I first ever played the game, back when it first came out, that was one thing which got me. It was their kind of gear fear. I first started playing, I died quite a few times, I started losing a lot of gear, and then I was like, just didn't know what to do. I didn't want to play properly. I didn't want to kind of push how I would normally push and play because I was too afraid of losing my gear. The thing with this game is you can still have that cool feeling, because I do like the gear fear feeling now, having really awesome gear and having that kind of like adrenaline if you're going to lose it, if you get into a fight with other players or you're fighting a big boss in the world and you could lose your gear. And I love that adrenaline feeling, but there's also free kits available in this game which allow you to choose that, not spend anything at all, go into the map, explore it, learn it, maybe just do some missions and knock out a few easy quests without any risk. And then you could maybe think, okay, you know what, I've now got some really cool gear. I might actually now take that in and have that awesome feeling. You can play the game exactly how you want to play it, and you don't get forced to do certain things. And that's something I really like about Arc Raiders. Arc Raiders seems to be doing everything right at the minute. This is why I'm so excited about this game. And the next thing I want to talk about is the Expedition project. This is something which was just given to us in terms of information over on the Discord with a blog post. I will put that in the pinned comment if you want to give it a read, but I'll kind of just sum it up for you now. So the Expedition project will allow you to wipe your character every 8 weeks or so. Now, Arc Raiders is not going to force wipes on anyone. This is great because for the people who can't put in as much time, they're not forced to wipe. You can just spend your time whenever working on your missions, building up your stash, working on the end game, whatever you're trying to work on. You don't have to worry about leaving Arc Raiders for a few weeks to a few months, come back and then see that your stash has been completely wiped. There's no forced wipes in this game, but the Expedition project allows it. So every 8 weeks, if you complete this Expedition project, which will be doing certain objectives and tasks throughout that 8 weeks, and if you complete it, you will get to reset your character. Now, a reset will obviously reset your character in terms of the missions, your stash, your skill tree, everything like that, and set you back to how you just started out when you first played. But you won't have to redo the starting missions from my understanding. The rewards also, they haven't let us know what these rewards are, but they said that they could be very worth, but they won't give you any advantages over someone who chose not to wipe. And I think this is great. I think this is good because it means that the people who choose not to wipe don't feel left out, but they also won't have any disadvantages against someone who's choosing to wipe and get these extra bonuses. So the rewards are going to be, from my understanding, I reckon either cosmetics or kind of progression things showcased in your hideout, which is going to be a really cool little thing they're also adding, where you can really show all your achievements in this game and really kind of like, you know, build up a kind of like profile of what you've done in Arc Raiders. So I'm interested to see what these rewards are. And for the people like myself, I would 100% be doing these wipes no matter what the rewards are, just because I like to have a kind of fresh start now and again. It gives me something to do. But someone, for example, who doesn't have as much time may not want to do it. And I feel like both are not going to feel like they're missing out on anything if they're choosing to go whichever way they want to go. This is great. Things like cosmetics, by the way, which you've paid for with real money, or anything you've paid for with real money, won't be reset, by the way, if you did choose to reset. It's also something they have stated in this blog post. And again, I will leave that in the pinned comment if you want to give a full read on what this Expedition project will entail. So let's talk about the gameplay. I don't want to talk about too much about the story and what you're doing. I want to kind of leave that to you to kind of discover when you get to play it. But the gameplay loop is really, really awesome and a lot different to other extraction shooters. Now, the gameplay loop is really interesting. It is more aimed towards survival and scavenging over just full out PvP, where you kind of just spawn rushing another spawn near you, killing them, taking their loot, looting up, doing a few missions maybe, and then getting out and rinse and repeating. In this game, it's a lot more thought out, I think. It's a lot more different. And you kind of go spawn in, and you're not all spawning in at once. It's kind of like timed spawn. Either you might start at right at the start of the map, or you might spawn in maybe 5-10 minutes into the map. And so you can't just like rush towards a certain spawn and think that someone's there, because they may have spawned 10 minutes ago, right? And so the idea is you spawn in, you go to whatever POIs you need to, kind of scavenge, loot things you need to find to walk towards either your progress or build some really awesome guns, things like that, and then try and get out. And obviously the PvP will kind of just come more natural, and that's what I like about extraction shooters, when they're kind of a more natural PvP, where you just come into an encounter with someone and then you have to decide if you want to fight them. There is also prox chat, so you can even talk to people, maybe talk it out and maybe even team up, and it gives you a little bit more options. The overall kind of, I suppose, story of this game, for anyone who doesn't even know what Arc Raiders is or haven't seen too much again about it, think of Terminator back in the, you know, in the part where Skynet is taken over Earth and they're inhabited all around Earth. They're kind of patrolling and looking for people to take out, and the humans are trying to kind of lay low underground, and they're trying to like rebel against the machines. That is basically kind of Arc Raiders to a T, in a way, where the machines are called arcs, and they're all over the top side of Earth and you're underground trying to hide and go out and scavenge and trying to get things unnoticed. If you attack machines, they will let you know, and they will, go onto you and hammer you and call in other aid if needed. And that makes the AI in this game quite scary, and you have to make sure that you have the right equipment to take them on before dealing with them. And again, it gives you that sense of survival, laying low, scavenging, and that's something I really, really love about Arc Raiders. It's really, really awesome. One of the biggest features I love about Arc Raiders, and it's one of the things I actually rate other extraction shooters on or based on, is if it's solo friendly. A lot of extraction shooters are just not really solo friendly, and they try and force you basically to play as a squad. Most of them are trying to get you to either do squad fill or team up with other people to try and get the most out of the game. But this one doesn't do that. It doesn't force you to play as a squad. It actually recognizes that there's a lot of solo players who like to play, and they're not trying to exclude you. This has a kind of matchmaking priority. If you are a solo player and you go in solo, you will be matched against other solo players. I've only ran into 1 or 2 duos on my tech tests playtime, and that is with limited players. Most of the time I was always going against solo players, and so when the full release comes out, this is going to be amplified even more, where you're most probably always going to be running into only solo players as a solo yourself. And that makes it so you're not at any type of disadvantage. You're not going to be ganked on by 3 or 4 man teams who are like sweating their balls off, right? And you have nothing you can do to try and counter that. It is great. And if you're a squad, you're going to be going against other squad players. And so it really doesn't exclude anyone in this game. And you don't feel like you're at any type of disadvantage, depending, either solo or squad, which is great. The next thing I want to focus on is Arc Raiders' sound design. They have absolutely nailed it when it comes to the overall sound of the game, the immersion of this game. And in the background that playing at the minute is a kind of trailer showcasing that, which again I will leave in the pinned comment if you want to watch the full video without the talking and just listen to what's going on. But the overall sound design is so good. That was the first thing I noticed when I spawned in on Arc Raiders. The kind of ambient noises, the dynamic weather and the rain effects and the wind, the machines you can hear in the distance and the sound effects they kind of emit when they're going along, the way they're walking, even like the crunching and the walking sounds, and everything literally just all adds up to a really immersive kind of gameplay experience. The gunshots when you're into fights all sound just crystal clear. Footsteps sound really accurate, and you can figure out exactly where people are coming from. And everything just all adds up to a really AAA kind of experience when it comes to the sound. And that's something that really drew me to Arc Raiders. As I said before, there will be a server slam coming up on the 17th to the 19th, and it's going to be free to everyone to be able to try and jump in without purchasing the game. This is a perfect way to get used to the mechanics of Arc Raiders, test out gear, test out guns, and use everything at no expense, because obviously it's going to wipe as soon as you do that server slam. So anything you use, doesn't matter if you lose it, or keep it, right? So a great way to just kind of really experiment with things, give certain things a try, learn the maps, learn the best loot spots, tackle some of the really harder AI, take on the AI to figure out what their weak spots are, all that type of thing. This is the perfect way to kind of get used to Arc Raiders just before it releases on the 30th. I will be streaming this live on the date of the 17th to the 19th. And if you're interested in solo content, even squad content, but I really do try and focus on our solo players, giving you the best hints and tips, guides, anything you need to know about extraction shooters. I have basically covered every single extraction shooter, and I'm a bit of an extraction shooter nerd. So if you want to follow me, pop over to the Twitch. I will leave that in the pinned comment down below, where we'll be live on the 17th to the 19th, and also from the 30th onwards. Hope to see you there, guys, and see you soon.